Mark Holland, welcome to Beyond Politics. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Catherine.
Now, if I'm reading your bio correctly, it seems like you have literally been in politics one way or another for your entire professional career. Is that accurate?
Pretty much. I got involved in my first campaign when I was 12 years old. My mother packed me a lunch, and I went into the campaign office and put pins on the wall and helped distribute flyers and do anything. I mean, I was avidly interested in politics. I don't know what it was particularly, but watching it on television or seeing articles in magazines was something that fascinated me. The idea that anybody could run and have an opportunity to fight for things they cared about and make a difference had an enormous appeal to me.
Was there a history of politics in your family, though? Did you have these big discussions around the dinner table and everyone took different sides? Were there political colors in your family?
My parents voted conservative and liberal. Okay. They were never really involved, but they always put a big emphasis on the importance of voting and the importance of civics. I remember going in with my parents at a very young age to go vote. They took me with them into the ballot box and explained why they were making the decision that they did and why they thought it was important. And that had a big impact on me, for sure. And my grandfather, when he was alive, was extremely political. Okay. He was a big conservative in Windsor. Couldn't stand Paul Martin Sr. Always worked against him at every opportunity. And of course, the irony was when I was first elected, was when Paul Martin was Prime Minister and I was in his caucus.
Was your grandfather alive at that point?
No, he wasn't. But I'm sure he was watching from somewhere, rolling around. Oh yeah.
Oh gosh. So how did you become a liberal then?
I think at a young age, when Pierre Elliott Trudeau was the Prime Minister, that he really captured my imagination. I mean, he was somebody who
That's young.
It was.
I mean, we're not that different in age.
No, I was really young.
You were really young.
Yeah, and I don't know what it was, why at that kind of young age I had such a strong emotional connection to that. But I remember watching him and watching him speak and just being really captivated by that. And I think as well, when I went through a process when I was I guess 16 or 17, when the Conservatives were having a leadership, and my mom really loved Kim Campbell. She thought she was going to be the greatest Prime Minister, and was really pushing me to get involved with the Conservatives. But for me, my values and the things that I really cared about more closely fit with the Liberal Party. And so that's the election that I decided I was going to get really involved, and phoned a local Liberal candidate and volunteered every day for 8 months.
Wow.
Doing everything from cleaning the campaign office. It was an old donut shop, and cleaning donut grease out of it, which was one of the least fun things I've done in politics.
You have 3 kids.
Yes.
And are they involved too?
They are involved in the sense that they, in elections, love to get involved and love to help, and they've come out door knocking with me and dropping flyers. And but I don't. None of them has expressed an interest to run in politics or be involved. Most of the interest has been in supporting me.
Okay. And do any of them say, Dad, this is really, like, why are you doing this?
No, they have really always understood what it's about, like why I was doing it, and have been really supportive in it. There are some days maybe when I ask that question, because you have to be away, and it is a real challenge on a family. But they've been amazing. They've really been incredibly supportive. In fact, in elections, it's one of the things that really took me off guard. I think, remember the first time I was running federally, and my son, I found that he was sneaking campaign literature into school to try to give to other kids and convince them to vote for his dad. It is a good thing, but I also realized how much pressure was on him. That he was really worried, and they take it very personally, because they see it through the lens of a child, which is that this is my dad, and my dad's running for office, so why wouldn't anybody support my dad?
Absolutely. Do you have a specific author that you always pick from, or do you have a certain genre of books that you like the most?
I usually nonfiction. I really enjoy reading on a wide array of different topics. Just listen to Jimmy Carter's book about his thoughts on what's going on in the Middle East, or my next book that I'm just starting is the book about the life of Abraham Lincoln, and how he brought together, the team of rivals is the name of the book, and how he brought them together. So I enjoy biographies. A lot of it is political.
Okay.
I enjoy the biographies of different lives, but a lot that's not political. I love science. I've always had a fascination in science, so a lot of books on science too.
Sounds serious.
Yeah.
Are you a serious kind of guy?
I can be, but I'm also not. I think that there's a lot of times in my life when I like to just go out and have fun like anybody else, and that I have a wife who's really amazing and loves to go out and dance and be out with friends, and so she's good for keeping me balanced. We've been together for just a little over 2 years, and it's been an incredible experience. She's been an incredible blessing to my life.
And how did you meet?
Well, we met after the leadership campaign that took place, not the last one, the one before. We've had a few of those too. And it was a party afterwards, and she happened to be there, and I talked to her for a while and exchanged emails, and went out a couple of times, and eventually started dating.
Oh, that's really great. And did you know right away?
I was pretty crazy about her. Yeah, I was. I wasn't necessarily looking, but she really blew me away. Just somebody who, aside from being beautiful, has just got such a depth of person. Somebody who's got an amazing character and is just a world of fun, and somebody who's very deep.
Did you have a fun wedding?
We did.
Did you?
Oh yeah, we had. I mean, I look at the pictures, and the dance floor was packed, and everybody was there until well into the morning, and we had a great time, and that was the big thing for us, to have a great time. And
yeah.
I think everybody did.
And what makes you passionate about what you're doing, and keeps you away from your family, away from your new wife, and working in a place that can be pretty contentious, not always an easy place to work?
Well, I think it's, right now my critic area is public safety and national security, and that covers a lot of things, from RCMP to border services, but also corrections. And when you see things that are happening as they shouldn't, I remember being in Her Majesty's Penitentiary in St. John's. I was taking a tour there, and there was in solitary confinement a man who with mental illness who was self-flagellating and just yelling out and carrying on. On the floor was another gentleman with a blanket over his head trying to drown out the sound, and they were in what was essentially a closet. And we're going to be there for a long time, because unfortunately those who are mentally ill, they have no way to deal with them. We're really using our prisons as hospitals, and that guy will be released directly back into the population. Certainly will reoffend. Nobody's getting better there. We got a correctional system that is really turning our prisons into crime factories, where there's a lot of desolation and sadness. And so when you talk with people who are, with the John Howard Society or Hetty Fry Society, or you talk with chiefs of police and you talk with different people, and you start seeing the solutions that are there, the things that could be done to make it better, the things that that should be done, then that's where those are the types of things you focus on. Saying that we shouldn't have 10% of our prison population being mentally ill, where they're only getting far worse in prison than they are better, and when they're released, they're immediately committing crimes. Or the fact that over 60% of inmates are facing drug addiction issues, and that's what's fueling their crime. It's what's making our streets not safe, and that we're not addressing those core problems of their addiction issues in their lives. And so I think you see things, and those are just a couple of examples, but I mean, you see things that have a strong impact on you, and you want to change, and you want to make a difference, and you can see the path to doing it. It's not an easy path, it's a long path, but I think it's one worth fighting, and I think that's what keeps me in it.
What do you do in your spare time?
Well, I love to run. So I ran my first marathon last spring.
Okay.
Adventure racing is something else I do, which is great.
Do you have other things that you do? Do you go to movies? Do you have time to do any of those things?
You make time. I think that it's one of the things you have to do is force time into your calendar to do things. I love to do stuff with the kids.
Yeah.
To go skiing or to go hiking. We really enjoy being out in the woods, and it's a fun area that we live in, because it's in Durham. You have a very large rural component to it, so you can take advantage of that.
If you weren't a politician, what would you be?
I love writing. I did write a book at one point that I never got around back to editing. I'd love to write. I think that advocacy is something that that would be important to me no matter what I did. But it's things that involve people. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't do this job unless you love people. Yeah. And so things that give me an opportunity to interact with people and to get to know people better is something I enjoy.